Welcome to the latest Rob and Blakey Commentary Box podcast. We are loud and clear on Welsh football. I'm Rob Phillips. I'm the former BBC Wales football correspondent, and alongside me is Nathan Blake, former Wales international and Premier League player. And of course, we're speaking to you from the University of South Wales Atrium, and with the valued support of the journalism and media courses. We've got a cast of thousands on board today. The students really pulling their weight today. Spread the word. Tell your friends. We're available on all via all social media outlets: Instagram, X, Blue Sky, Threads. Watch us on YouTube, and of course, get us where you get all your usual podcasts, including Spotify. This week, really busy looking at Craig Bellamy's Wales squad. We for the pivotal qualifiers away to Liechtenstein, at home to North Macedonia. We'll talk about the FL clubs. What next for Aaron Ramsey? We'll look at the Wales Women's World Cup draw. And we'll remember the wonderful Colin Addison, who passed away just a few days ago. So, we're recording this on Wednesday. Craig Bellamy has just announced his squad for the huge World Cup qualifiers later this month. A week Saturday, Nath. Wales, you will be there, travelling to Liechtenstein. And then before the following Tuesday, Wales entertain North Macedonia. Just one headline from the squad announced today: Dan James is back.
Okay, that's great news. Ben Davies in the squad.
Yeah.
But touch and go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I think, Dan James, great addition. Welcome back. Love that pace he's got.
I think we miss him.
Yeah, well, I do think we miss him
there.
massively. Yeah, and I don't think you could have said he's an integral part of the squad a couple of years ago, but he does come across now when he's not there. It's like glaringly obvious. Yeah. We know Sorba's had a really good time, done well for Craig, what have you. But that option to have Dan or Brooksy or whoever or Brennan, I just think he's probably the most consistent out of the players.
I know you're a huge fan of Sorba Thomas, and his form is exceptional.
But
for Stoke this season, which is why they're top of the Championship. But I think down the left, Dan James offers more of a threat because I've always had my only concern with Sorba. I love the way, like you always say, he sets the pace, sets the tone of a Wales performance with his pressing. But I love the fact that. But I'm a bit concerned sometimes that I'm not sure his
crossing
quality of crossing.
I know you were going to say that.
Yeah, but is that fair? You tell me.
No. Listen, it's a fair comment. I always say I think he's better because he checks and comes on his right foot, so he can put a good ball in, check on his right foot. He tends to underhit it a lot when he goes down the outside and tries to cross it with his left. But I think Dan, he's the same player, right footed, but he'll clip a ball.
Yeah,
we've seen that, right? Clips a ball and Kiefer coming in and sort of bearing it or getting a chance on goal. But I just think he's a great addition to have in the squad.
Yeah, and
he's a threat, isn't he?
He is.
As soon as he comes on, people change. Do you know what I mean? People all know, God, he's so rapid. You see them getting nervous when he's starting to get stripped and what have you. You look at the opponent's bench, the manager's shouting. You make sure, because he's such a threat. So that's a great attribute.
And if you've had, whatever way, if you've had an hour of Sorba Thomas running
the last
at
thing you want to see.
Me. Yeah, exactly. The Roadrunner coming on.
That's the last thing you want to see.
But likewise the other way around. If you had an hour of Dan James, because he will keep making those runs, no matter what, fruitless or not.
Yeah.
He'll always make those runs.
Yeah.
And then he's coming off you thinking, and then there's Sorba Thomas, who's in the form of his life.
Yeah.
Because managers are well aware, aren't they? There's no secrets these days to
I mean, if you look at those
management.
two and then Brooks and Brennan, you've got four really, really, really good wingers, all with pace, all with quality. Do you know what I mean? Can do different things, got different attributes. So it's a great, if you're Craig, it's, like I say, it's a very welcomed addition to have Dan back in the squad.
Yeah, quite. Obviously, Wales are playing Liechtenstein. Ideally, scoring 6 goals, but
7
without
would
Harry
do.
Wilson, well, 7 would do. Yeah, because the table. Let me just remind people: Belgium played 6, 14 points. North Macedonia played 7, 13 points. Wales played 6, 10 points. But the North Macedonia goal difference is 9, and Wales is 3.
How's that worked?
Because they don't give many goals away,
Yeah,
North Macedonia.
yeah, true. I still think it comes down to us and them at the end, the last game.
Yeah.
I think people were too quick to write them off and put us in second place, possibly first. Whereas North Macedonia got a way of playing home and away. Doesn't matter. They play deep block counter attack, and they've become brilliant at it. So, whereas we'll say we should adapt here and adapt there. They don't. They just got a system of play. They play it. Everyone knows their jobs, and they say, "Do you just come and break us down then?" But be aware, we're going to counter attack on you.
Yeah.
So it's a game fraught with danger for me, because I wouldn't want to finish below them. Put it that way.
No, and let's be honest, Wales have not been in great form lately.
No, they haven't. I mean, it's I think the first 7, 8, 9 games, Craig was fantastic, and it's probably since the Canada game, right? It's gone a bit, but Canada's a friendly, England's a friendly. I know we got our reservations about points and what have you, and what it could mean for you, and
Yeah.
but they just got to get back to business. For me, I always say, if we've never seen the team play well, it's a worry. But we've seen them give some magnificent performances, whether that's over 90 minutes to begin with, the first 5 or 6 games, and then we've seen good 45 minutes of very good spells in certain halves. I would say the Belgium second half away was an amazing performance. Wasn't good, it was an amazing performance. Yeah. And Turkey at home, Turkey away, 2 great performances. That's the kind of levels they've got to get back to.
Yeah, it's interesting. I caught a bit of Craig Bellamy's press conference, and he's saying, I don't want to be an underdog. I don't want to go into games being an underdog. I want us to feel that we can, that there's no inferiority complex, which is one thing he has brought.
Yeah, do you know what, though?
But sometimes that can be...
I wouldn't worry about that, see? It's down to the mentality of the players, really and truly, right? If Craig says, I don't want to be an underdog, if you're coming up against Brazil, you're the underdog. If you're playing against England, you're the underdog. If you're playing against Argentina, you're the underdog.
Yeah.
It don't mean to say you think that. That's just a sort of a betting odd. Don't worry about whether, it's how we approach this game to win this game, or how we approach this game to try and get a point at this game to then progress into the tournament. So there are things like, I understand what he's talking about, but it's a mentality I think he's trying to say. We don't want to go into games thinking, oh my God, we're going to be up against Brazil or England. We want to say, right, we'll match you with what we got.
Okay, yeah.
That's what he's trying to say, I think.
Yeah. Well, we'll have a deeper dive into it next week.
Yeah.
But the squad, as I said, we're recording this on Wednesday, and the squad has just been announced. It's available for all to see.
Sorry, mate. Just the Ben Davies thing is a critical thing for me. Yeah. Especially the Macedonia game. If he misses the Liechtenstein game, not a problem.
Harry Wilson also missing.
Yeah, yeah. So 2 key performers, right?
Yeah.
So I doubt with an hamstring, if you miss Liechtenstein, you're not going to be ready for Macedonia. No. I can't see it.
Well, we'll know more by the time we return
Fingers
next
crossed,
week,
right?
On the Rob and Blakey
Commentary Box
podcast. And as ever, we are loud and clear on Welsh football, as we've just been
from the old South Wales Uni,
from the University of South Wales atrium. I want to talk about one player in particular that Craig Bellamy was didn't play him in the last game or until the last 5 minutes. Kiefer Moore. He is in astonishing form now for
Yeah.
Wrexham. Obviously, we're recording this the night that Wrexham, you're going to watch them at Portsmouth.
I am going to Pompey
And
tonight.
Swansea are at Preston, so we'll take that as it comes. Nothing we can do about that, but we do know that Kiefer Moore, his perfect hat-trick, his complete hat-trick against league leaders, championship leaders, Coventry City, was something to behold last Friday.
That was fantastic, wasn't it? Sliding, right foot, header, left foot, strike across the keeper. Just a brilliant hat-trick. He was unplayable, like, and then mixing with the centre-backs and getting into it with the centre-backs when he threw ragdoll the one. Because clearly there's the two. I like that, right? I don't think we see enough of that sort of combative sort of nature anymore.
Was he a throwback? You don't. I mean,
I wouldn't say a throwback. I would just say he's a striker that, I know what you mean, a throwback, but I would still say there's, like, Erling Haaland is a freak of nature, right?
He's different,
but he's a throwback, right?
Yeah,
he is that throwback style striker on his own. He would just batter you, like, you know what I mean? And I think you look at, like, in my day, you had like Mick Harfords and people like that, who would just like muller you in a tackle or a header or what have you. You can't get away with that like they used to. But physically, like, the two Coventry centre halves clearly wanted it with him, and he's more than happy to take both of them on, and to come out the other side with a hat trick. Like, I just thought he was magnificent. Honestly, I thought he was brilliant.
He was.
I actually had a smile on my face watching the game.
And I'm hoping the result in Portsmouth doesn't put this in a bad perspective. But it actually showed, not only have we all always said Wrexham will grow into the season, which they are, but they play a style that probably not many other teams play in the Championship. Maybe
it's coming back, man.
Could be the only one.
I'm telling you, it's coming back.
Do you think?
Football's cyclical. It's you know, things that you used to do that you don't do anymore. Like, you know, one day in the next couple of years, you'll stop just having one holder. What you'll say is the two centre midfielders, you'll alternate. That's just going back to when I was a kid. 4-4-2 is coming back fashionable. Long throws are coming back fashionable. Set pieces. When I was at Sheffield United, set pieces, Dave Bassett used to live and die by set pieces, right? So it's, like I say, it's not... What's happened is there's been a cohort of people who come into the game over the last 20 years, namely nutritionists and scientists and medical this and that and this, and they come up with this new terminology, like holding midfielder or six or a DM, and you think, oh God, he's a centre midfielder who sits, basically. But to talk the talk, we've got to say, oh, he's a DM. Or, you know, it's transitional play. Or,
well, you're the one who talks the talk
on
radio these days.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's no different. What I'm saying is the game hasn't changed from when I was playing it as an 8-year-old. No. You know what I mean? Systems have changed and they alter and what have you.
That's a no then, is it?
But the game's never changed. It's 11v11 with a referee and 2 linesmen. And VAR.
So it has changed a bit. Yeah, we won't go down the VAR course because we haven't got all day.
Yeah. And I don't want to get hot. Yeah.
No, okay.
I'm hot enough. It's warm in here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You
the
think
way you'll go with that.
Warm, you look at me like, hey.
Aaron Ramsey, 35 on Boxing Day, back from Mexico, made 3 starts, 3 sub-appearances, and scored 1 goal for Punos UNAM.
For who?
UNAM, I think it is. I'm not sure if it's UNAM or... Anyway, Pumas. Okay. I've never been very good with names. Nathaniel. 86 caps, 21 goals for Wales, 3 FA Cups, Serie A, Coppa Italia, Scottish Cup, European success as well, or finals. What next for Aaron Ramsey?
I would have thought he'd probably go into coaching and management. He showed that desire at Cardiff, right? He took over the job for a couple of games and didn't quite work out how he expected it to or wanted it to. But I expect him to go into the coaching. He's, like I said, he's shown a desire for it. So I'd be surprised if he doesn't end up somewhere along the line. And the Welsh FA will have something for him somewhere, I would have thought. Whether they start under 15s or whatever. Can't be too proud once you that. I think with a lot of the boys who go into management, I always think the problem for me is that because we've played the game, we act as if we don't have to learn this job of coaching and management, and you do. Do you know what I mean? There's an there's an apprenticeship to serve. There's not many people who will go straight in, get the number one job from playing and become an absolute success, is there? You know, you look at someone like Jose Mourinho and how long he spent as a number two.
Yeah.
Right? And not a player, but spent as a number two.
Arsene Wenger was
right, Arsene Wenger, right?
Yeah.
But they spend time within the game, understanding, because it's different. If I'm a player, you're a player, and all the boys in the back there were a team. You know, we have a certain sort of click and a chat and blah, blah, blah. The manager comes in, there'll be sometimes we'll involve him, and sometimes we'll go, gaffer's in. So, I
didn't hear what you said then. Gaffer what? Gaffer's here.
Well, the gaffer's in, keep quiet,
Right, okay.
You know what I mean? We keep that amongst the boys or amongst the team. So, if you're a manager, you're now having to, you're not part of that clique. You're having to oversee every single member of that clique. And they'll all have, you know, different ways, different thoughts, different, like, you know, Newport, Cardiff, Swansea over there, Newport. Ben, what are you, Ben? Oh, he's saying.
I'm going to explain. There's some students watching us, and one will join us later.
They're not watching. They're learning.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the uni, man. It's the uni.
The other thing, I've made some inquiries because I've seen Cardiff fans say they'd love to have Aaron Ramsey back. Others say don't want Aaron Ramsey back.
Would you say the split is 50-50 or 60-40, 70-30?
I've not seen it widely talked about. Yeah, probably.
I don't think many people are expecting him to come back.
No, exactly. I think you're right. Yeah, I don't think they expect him to come back, and I don't think, by what I gather, speaking to people at Cardiff, it's a question of there was no animosity when he went. He went to Mexico. He was among those being considered for the job. That was that. So they would, as I said, there's no personal grudge against Aaron Ramsey because maybe there was an impression that he up sticks and went to Mexico without sort of saying much. But they don't see it as happening because it appears that, as you say, he may see, and why wouldn't he, at 35 on Boxing Day, he may see a role in coaching, and at the moment, there are no roles in coaching going at Cardiff City. Now, so I don't think...
But if you're a coach, you can go anywhere.
Yeah, you can. Exactly.
So there's the mentality, right?
Yeah.
It's like, that lends to the point I just made. You know, you're now, it's like being a player. Like the game chooses you. You don't really choose the game, right?
Quite.
So if the perfect world, you'd say, oh, I'm a Chelsea fan, I'd like to play for Chelsea, or I'm a Liverpool fan, I want to play. That's a perfect world. It doesn't happen very often. You know, Eze, just going to Arsenal, that doesn't happen very often. So, you know, I look at it and just say, well, as a manager, wherever the opportunity arises, you know, you'll know plenty of people in the game, I would have thought. Someone will be in coaching and management, what have you. And he's clearly not bothered about going abroad. He's been to Italy, now he's in South America, blah, blah, blah. So he's not bothered about going abroad. So wherever the opportunity arises, and if I was him, I would tend to go... If you gave me a choice to start my coaching career, I would go to Scandinavia.
Would you?
Yes.
Why?
I would go to Scandinavia because I think they're the most patient and they're the best at developing or helping develop coaches and helping you learn to develop rather than having that arrogance and thinking I know it already. I would go to Scandinavia or possibly Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those two.
Get your coaching Spurs sort of thing. Get
Absolutely, yeah. Just,
and without sort of generalising, Scandinavian players are known for being good pros, no trouble. Any dressing room, there can be troublemakers. I don't care where they are, North Pole or,
or in the
North
press,
Shields.
or in the press, there could be trouble.
Well, there's a lot of troublemakers in the press, don't I know? Glad to be part of the group. But that's an interesting one that you think. I mean, Graham Potter's gone back, hasn't he? He's gone back to Sweden to run the national team.
I think Sweden, Norway. I think those kind of Nordic countries. There's more from the ownership. There's more of an understanding, and there's more of a team sort of thought process. We're part of the same team. Whereas I think here there's a lot of we know best at the top. You're only the manager, or the manager, I know more than you because I've played the game or what have you, and you lot know nothing. Like what we spoke about Swansea last week. That if there's a gap between your manager and your board, it's a problem, mate.
I always think as well, we'll talk about Colin Addison later. He's perfect about, he's almost lived
Legend,
up to this.
wasn't he?
Well, I think there's more of a stigma about being sacked in the British game than there is abroad. In other words, that, if you get sacked by, maybe Frank Lampard's proven this now, he's got better now for the experiences he's had as a manager. And I think over here, hate to use that phrase, but in Britain, and particularly in the English domestic game, I would say once you're sacked, it's, he can't be very good because he's been sacked by somebody. Well, Will's still a bad manager.
That's an arrogance, right? That's an arrogance of
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's an arrogance of our press.
Do you think that's true?
Yeah, I do. It's an arrogance of our people, like our press people.
Just say I
right?
agree. There's no rule against it.
No, I agree. Yeah, there's an arrogance, I think, as well, because I think a lot of our press people who've never played the game, who write about the game, think they actually know the game inside out, and will write stories and clip things up and what have you. And the power of the pen is as powerful, if not more, than the player. So I can write stuff about you, as you know, right? And thousands of people will believe it.
Well, if I write it, I don't
because they've picked it up in the paper and read it.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but I would say someone like Lampard has had the opportunity to fail so many times. Whereas I think that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, if he's not Frank Lampard, he doesn't get opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, right? What I would say is, rather than going Derby Chelsea, I would be thinking to myself, I don't want those kind of pressures right now. I want to learn the game and from a coaching perspective, and I want to learn about handling grown men. Some might be 19, some might be 16, some might be 29, 31. Well, you can't treat the 16, 17-year-olds just coming to your team the same as the 31-year-old who might be an international legend and what have you. Do you understand what I mean?
Well,
so you have to manage
Robbie
personalities.
Keane, is among those, along with Craig Bellamy, being linked with the Celtic job, and he's been to Israel. He's in Hungary now.
Yeah.
Sort of cutting his teeth.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I still think there's many things with management that's wrong, though. I do.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll talk about that again. But before we leave Wales altogether, Brennan Johnson, what a feat by him last night. First British player to get to score and get sent off in a European game.
Oh. I thought you was going to say something about the goal. I thought it was like, it was the typical Brennan Johnson goal, right? Running onto it and what have you.
Yeah. And we need him in form.
That was going to be my next point. That's exactly what we need. Because he's. I said this to Dav Pritch yesterday. I think
he's BBC's Dan Fritz. just
Yeah,
to
there's
explain to
so
people.
much pressure on players these days to do well, and just because I think he kind of come in when the void was left by Gareth. I think there was the automatic, he'll be, and me and you and I have had this conversation, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he's the next, not you'll say, I didn't say he's the next Gareth Bale.
And I didn't say
But
that.
you kind of alluded to that, right? He's the person who's going to pick up that slack, right? Don't frown, because what I'm saying is true, right? You kind of alluded to, right? So he'll be the next sort of person on the conveyor belt who will be the next big thing, because he went for 50 million quid.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So, but we haven't seen him develop into, like, when Gareth went to Spurs. People weren't going, he's going to be world class. And then all of a sudden, it just went boom, right?
Yeah.
I think as well with Brennan, I think everyone's waiting for that boom, but it doesn't necessarily come to all players. Do you understand what I mean? He might develop slower, or he might not develop further.
Yeah.
He might have reached his ceiling. I just think there's a lot of, I mean, we're talking about him now, but there's a lot of talk, and that comes with a lot of pressure as well.
Yeah, we need him. I mean, we want him to do well because we need him to do
Yeah, well,
well.
I said,
for Wales.
I was asked, how do you think he can improve and whatever? I said, like, I'd love to see him learn to play with his back to goal, because I think he could play as a number 9.
Really?
I think he'd be frightening as a number 9. I think his movement's good. He's got these lovely sway hips where he can go past you quite easily. But his problem is he's not great with his back to goal. We've tried him as a 9, right, a few times.
Yeah.
I think if he can learn to play with his back to goal, he could be dangerous as a 9.
Well, that'll be interesting. As I say, we really do need him up and in form for Liechtenstein and North Macedonia. You're enjoying, hopefully, the Rob and Blakey Commentary Box podcast. We're loud and clear on Welsh football. Any sponsors or potential advertisers out there, please get in touch. We'd love to develop this podcast a lot more, and we could do with your help. So drop us an email if you want to talk, and our email is robandblakey@gmail.com, and of course we're available on social media, all outlets, and wherever you get your podcasts, including Spotify. Mixed fortunes in the FA Cup. Nathan Blake, Cardiff got knocked out by Peterborough, but of course, since we last spoke, they've drawn Chelsea in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
I don't think you should ever pass off a defeat, and Brian Barry Murphy didn't. Said he was disappointed with the display at Peterborough. Made a few changes again. But in the long run, you tell me, you certainly take a defeat there than he would at sort of Blackpool on Saturday, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I think so. I it's all about the league for Cardiff, right? And your cup games are almost like an added bonus. And you're through to the semis, was it? The semis of the League Cup?
Quarterfinals.
Sorry, last.
Yeah.
So, last 8 of the League Cup. Flip it around. If it was last 8 of the FA Cup and the league, equally, you'd say it's a great achievement, right?
Yeah.
I think you see the FA Cups, because of its tradition, bigger than the League Cup. But, when Man City or Liverpool, whoever win the League Cup, Man United, they're all delighted with it.
Newcastle.
Right? Newcastle, right?
Parties.
They're absolutely delighted with it. So to be in the last 8 and, challenging at the top, I think that's all right. No, it doesn't excuse the defeat, because a defeat's a defeat. One defeat can knock you out of sync and put you on a bad run or whatever. You look back to where it started and things like that. So I think, disappointing to go out, because traditionally everyone loves the FA Cup. I think fans love the FA Cup.
They do, but the fans will love Chelsea at home, won't they?
Yeah,
that's an old rivalry from the past.
Yeah. Remember Fulham away?
Yes.
And Chelsea fans doing that. And they all went kicked off. I remember that.
But that'll be a great occasion. That is reward for winning at Burnley and winning at Wrexham, isn't it?
Yeah.
You'd like to think as close to a full
And
house.
Chelsea are full of youngsters.
Yeah, quite.
And I guarantee you, it's a great yardstick for the youngsters, your Capacchios, your Lawlers, and what have you, your Fishes, to look at themselves up against, right, these are the youngsters who are being bought for 50, 60, 70, 80 million quid.
Yeah.
All right? Let's pit our wits against these and see where we come out. I think it's a great occasion.
Do you think Omari Kellyman can play against his old club? Apparently it's possible.
I don't know.
Oh,
I didn't think you could.
Well, no, I think it is possible if they give you permission. It'd be interesting to see it.
If Chelsea give him permission.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, it would be, yeah.
Nice player, by the way.
We asked on the Rob and Blakey X site for any questions. Nigel Blues has come up with a question, big Cardiff City fan. He said, with the transfer window open in less than 2 months, what should Cardiff do? In other words, he also adds that he
what
still finds
players should they go for?
What position should they look for? He also says, I find it incredible. Do you also find it incredible? He's asking you that Rinamoto and Rawls, Andy Rinamoto and Joe Rawls still have no club. But then he later posted that he thinks Rinamoto is training with Rotherham. You and I both suggested Newport County for those. But let's stick to the transfer thing. If you were BBM at the moment, where would you be looking to strengthen, do you think?
Striker.
Yeah.
I would want another striker. I think my backup goalkeeper is good. I would go for Robertson coming back as kind of resolved a minor issue, but I might go for another central midfielder.
I'm with you on that.
And I would probably go for a 26, 27-year-old centre-back who's got good experience. There's one down from Chambers. So Chambers is probably another year or two max. We need someone who's got that maturity and has played, a good 150 odd 200 games.
Yeah, well,
so
I'm sort of with you.
Me, yeah.
I would throw in a left back, even though Joe Bagan has been fantastic.
And he don't get hurt.
It's amazing.
Because he's dirty. Yes.
Yeah.
I'd hate playing.
I think he's been right up there with
I think
Nathan
the whole
Trott
back four
as Cardiff's most consistent player this season.
Rob, Trott, Bagan, Pacquiao, Lawler, Fish, and then the others when they've stepped in.
Chambers, yeah.
Right.
He's done well.
Done really well. But I think that youngster back four, the young back four and Trott, you've got to remember, that's a five that never played together before. And what they've achieved is remarkable, really.
Well, what's remarkable as well, I agree with you on most of what you said.
I know, I don't know what's going on today.
I would throw in a left back. I would go, I still think there's a role for a defensive midfield player, an upgrade on what they have at the moment.
Yeah, so that midfielder can be attacking, defensive, either or. Because Robertson solves you a lot of the attacking.
Yeah.
But you haven't really got cover for Wintle or, Chambers can move in there. But yeah.
I think I'm with you because I always say you can never have enough strikers.
I always say to get out the League One and the Championship, you need prolific goals.
Yeah.
Right? You need to be prolific. You need to have someone in 20 goals. 18 goals is a minimum striker. You have a striker with or forward with 12, 13, 14 goals. If, I can't believe how it is for strikers these days that you can get 10 goals in a season and be considered, that's a good return. That's eye-opening for me. I'm like, wow. Yeah. It used to be 20 goals was your marker as a striker. Doesn't matter if you're the big man, the little man, no offense. Doesn't matter if you're the big man, the little man, or whatever you
even
are.
bigger than he was playing man, or someone as sylph-like for his age like me.
It doesn't matter, right? But I always say 20 goals is your marker.
Yeah.
As a Premier League striker, if you're not in the top sort of 6-7 teams, I would say 10 to 15 is your mark.
Yeah.
If you're in the top echelons of the league, it's like 15 to 25, there's your mark, depending if you're top 4 or whatever. But for any team, your striker, even relegated teams, your striker's got to be looking to get double figures, 10, 12 goals.
Let's move on to Newport then. 4 wins in the last
You're on the
5
port.
for them. And honestly, a rousing cup tie. I was there on Saturday. They beat Gillingham, who are one of the better teams in League Two.
Yeah, just turned them over as well.
A couple of things I did pick out. The penalties were, Jordan Wright did really well, the Newport goalkeeper. Sam Vokes hit the bar. He's going to take terrible stick.
He's not bad, him, Jordan Wright. Man.
No, he's good. I like him.
Yeah.
I like him. I think they got the goalkeeping situation is really good at Newport.
Yeah.
But I got
would you prefer Zanev though?
I didn't see any reason to drop Jordan Wright on.
I think Jordan Wright's got better distribution.
Yeah, you could be right. Right, see what I did there. The other thing that stood out, so fair play to Newport, they show real guts. But here's a couple of things that else took my eye. Seb Palmer-Holden, who was excellent on loan for Newport a couple of seasons ago.
Did he get hammered?
He was, when he warmed up to come on as sub, he was booed as he stood there. And then when he ran on, they were singing the Seb Palmer-Holden song.
Okay.
It was brilliant by the Newport fans.
Yeah.
Who else but Seb Palmer-Holden scored?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
In the last minute of extra time to take it to penalties.
Yeah. And then he booed him coming off.
but no, he actually didn't celebrate. He
Yeah.
kept it very low. Well, I'd say didn't celebrate. I'm mixed on that. I don't see why strikers can't celebrate.
Oh, I would.
But he didn't go over. Yeah, well, yeah, you would.
Yeah.
But he didn't go over the top on it, and he's a really good.
Oh,
he looked. It was a class finish as well by him. So I love that about the Newport fans.
Yeah.
And in the end, they had it.
So there's no. So you really and truly, there's no animosity there.
No, quite.
It's just like we love you, but
they appreciated what he did for them, and
he did well for
He was
Newport
really
as well.
good. Yeah, he's really good.
Really
He
well.
looks.
Yeah.
He's a player with a career
With a
ahead
future.
of him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was less classy. Was one of the Gillingham backroom staff, or it may have been a sub. Somebody on the bench had been. The stick they take on the bench there, where the vocal Newport fans are. Turned around and gave 2 fingers to the fans when Seb Palmer-Holden scored the equaliser.
Who did?
One of the Gillingham people.
Players or
I'm not
staff?
sure. I don't know them. It may have been one of the subs. It may have been one
He's
of the
a brave
coaching
boy, I tell you that, because that could have started.
Well, and that's my worry. I wouldn't condone it. Anything.
No, I wouldn't condone it, but I know. they're
You
quite.
got to be better.
They're
than
quite
that.
young, those guys in there behind there. The older heads are never going to be there. They're just the up and coming. They're the future.
Yeah, you got to be better than that, haven't you?
Yeah, because you take stick, and that stick can go overboard sometimes.
Yeah.
But clearly, that's not one of those occasions, is it? It's one of them. You boo him. Then
It was emotional.
you
I
clap
will
him
say
on.
that. It was an emotional occasion. It was a brilliant cup tie.
Yeah,
It had everything. And Newport won through in the end. So karma maybe.
Yeah, well, I would just say that's a dangerous thing to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you should probably get reprimanded for it. Even though, as a player, I know we take a lot of stick and what have you.
Yeah.
Um,
And I want
actually sticking your 2 fingers up is like, I've never seen that before.
I want to pick out one player as well, because it's difficult for us to talk about Swansea too much today because they're playing after we broadcast.
Yeah.
And by the time people hear or see this. But Ben Lloyd, my word, he covered every blade. I think David Hughes said afterwards, 16K. I'm not. I mean, they can measure it these days. Is that He was...
Well, 12K, I think, is the norm, I think.
So he covered 16K, I think
Maybe
it was.
he's in the wrong sport.
Well, but what I mean is, he affected the game.
I'm joking.
He affected the game.
A dressing room bad thing is supposed
Yeah.
to like jump on it. And
All right,
like,
sorry.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Well,
no,
I've
this.
never been in a dressing room other than get chucked in the bath
yeah,
once.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I understand why.
Yeah,
but no, that is an awful lot of ground to cover, I would say, and they're going to need that.
Yeah, so he's on loan from Swansea. I think Alan Sheehan will be well pleased with what he's done lately.
Yeah. So you think you call him back?
Oh, I wouldn't say that. There's, what do you always say, levels, Rob.
Yeah.
There's levels.
Yeah.
But all he can do on loan is impress
do what he's doing.
He's
doing what he's doing. Yeah. So listen, long may it continue. Newport just have to keep building on this run they're on, right?
Yeah.
Because let's be fair, I still think they'll spend all season in that bottom league. You know, if they get above 17th,
take that now.
I'd be jaw dropped.
Yeah.
Right? But I think they're gonna. Well, hopefully they'll get off the bottom. But they'll fluctuate between 17th and the bottom, I think.
Well, I think
there's like a mini league there already developing.
What you can say is there appears to be now a little bit more light now than there was 6 games ago.
6 games ago, we were searching in the dark for the light.
We were, and not the greatest FA Cup draw in round 2. Boreham Wood away. Boreham Wood are absolutely flying in the National League. So effectively,
but
there's only about 2 or 3 places between them.
Yeah, but it'll be a good game.
It will be.
Yeah, that's the good thing. It's the FA Cup. It's a good tie.
Yeah,
it's better than if you're at Rodney Parade, we've had the giant killings over the years, right? But if you're at Rodney Parade, you don't want sort of maybe, I don't know, like a Blackburn coming or something like that. If you want to, not saying Blackburn isn't a big club. What I'm saying is you want the big sort of Chelsea tie, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. So if you're going away from home or you're in the second round, someone you can beat to get to the third round is what I'm trying to say.
Well, remember you and I going to Eastleigh a few years ago, and look what happened.
Yeah.
You got through to round 3. Manchester United ended up in town.
That's right. All right. Because that's what you want.
What a memorable weekend that was.
That's what you want, effectively.
Yeah, it was.
Don't you? Yeah.
It was the
Anthony
greatest
was
weekend.
the greatest.
Yeah. Quickly, as I say, I must repeat, Swansea and Wrexham are playing after this, maybe as people will already know the results at Preston and Portsmouth respectively, but good point at Charlton for Swansea on Saturday. I'm still not certain, but we'll go into this in future podcasts. I'm still not certain that Alan Sheehan has won everybody on side yet. But on Wrexham, Elliot Lee out for 12 weeks. He's been a huge part of their rise.
Yeah, he's not playing though, is he?
He's not been
of late. Not like
no.
last season, the season before.
No.
So I wouldn't say that's a major issue for Parkinson. Plus, the transfer window's coming up. I can see them adding to their squad.
Yeah, and Danny Ward could be back before Christmas, the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Which will also please Craig Bellamy, I'm sure.
Yeah. He's not. Think he's number 1 at Wrexham now when he comes back, or do you think Okonkwo's done enough to hold his position?
I mean, you got to say they're on a relatively decent run at the moment, so why would he
and
change?
He's playing well, isn't he?
Yeah. So we shall see on that. Right. We've been joined by a gentleman. Introduce yourself. Your name is?
I'm Ed, and I'm a student here at USW, second year in the sports journalism course.
Excellent. We've got you in, Ed, because there was a Women's Nations League draw yesterday. Wales were drawn from Pot 1. They're in Section B, and they're in fact in Group B1 with Czechia, the old Czech Republic, Albania and Montenegro. These games will be played in March, April and June. I don't know what you're going to say, Ed, but let me quote an ex-post from Sean Misra, who's got an authority on Welsh women's football these days. He said, mixed bag for Wales. Montenegro are in their first League B group. Albania finished 3rd in this tier last time out. Czechia concern me, he says. Lost narrowly to Austria in the playoffs and almost reached the Euros. They will be very tough. And I've looked at the rankings. They're actually one place above Wales in the rankings. So what have you made of the group? Bearing in mind as well, it's also a qualification, the start of qualification for the World Cup in Brazil in 2027.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same way they got to the Euros, Wales. They've got to go through this sort of group, and then they'll be in the playoffs to go, hopefully, to the World Cup.
Playoffs?
Yeah, difficult.
We'd take about 3 podcasts to explain the playoffs.
Explain the playoffs, yeah.
It's too complicated.
It is really, yeah.
I just
So
say let's
go
get
on,
to
Ed.
the game.
If they can do anything similar to what they did last time in this sort of setting, then I'm sure they'll be fine. They were unbeaten last time, so 4 clean sheets, and they drew twice against Ukraine, who finished second in the group. So I think, like Sean says, it's Czech Republic they think they got to worry about. The other ones, they should be winning those games, and they've definitely got enough to win those games. So
Do you think they got enough to finish top of the group, though?
I believe so.
I think so. Yeah, they
and
should have.
it's the home games they've got to focus on as well. Get the crowd behind them at home and create that atmosphere. And I think they should be finishing top of the group.
Well, they've got to break the run they're on at the moment, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly. They've
Was
got to
it
stop
11 games, is it?
11 games without a win.
They got to stop
Although,
conceding goals, haven't they?
admittedly, against much better opposition than they're facing.
Yeah.
They're facing now.
It's defensively. I think they've just got to stop conceding goals, and if they do that, then they got way better chances of winning games.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
If you concede 3 or 4, I would say you've got no chance.
Or 5 as in against Poland.
Yeah, it's a nightmare for your striker, because one chance and you miss it and everyone goes, like the striker's missed a great chance, and you might get 1 in 1 game, but you're losing 3 or 4. And
Yeah, and this will test Liam Wilkinson now, won't it? This sort of draw. It's not the easiest they could have had, is it?
No, and like you say, it's definitely going to test it, especially after coming off this bad run they're in now and games that they're now expected to win. I think they probably haven't been in that position now for a good couple of months. So, like you say, but I think the Czech Republic game is definitely the ones they need to focus on the most. I think the other ones they should be picking up 6 points against either side.
It's sort of that psychological thing again, isn't it? Well, like we spoke earlier about Craig and him saying like he doesn't want to be the underdog. It's that mentality in it that I think the women now have got. And Liam Wilkinson, like I think that's a serious job there. And when you've gone 11 and getting beaten, but you're getting heavily beaten, I think that's the issue for me.
Yeah.
At one point, conceding early goals was a problem, and goals from set pieces, that's been another major issue. So you've got to get these things and get them sorted. And now, just remember, because you don't know until she's gone, but your match winner or the person come on and do things which are outrageous and turn a game for you, all of a sudden is gone.
Yeah, quite. I want to ask you, Ed, as well. Wales' coefficient now.
Yeah.
They're right down now, aren't they?
Yeah, second bottom now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, but I think that's why the Welsh FA and stuff, they partner in now to expand the domestic leagues next year. The Cymru Premier is going to 16 teams like it used to be.
Yeah.
I think that they've thought now they have to try something different. They have to get more engagement. And there was a figure in last Christmas about the attendances around Boxing Day around the Cymru Premier, and it was some sort of like 20-25% increase. So there is stuff happening.
Yeah.
And I think that they're doing it now at the right time, because being the second worst league in Europe is not acceptable for us.
Rob's got the idea of going to like Friday nights. What do you think of that, Ed?
Yeah, I think it's
a must.
It's a must. I think.
And would you go to a summer rather than a winter? Like the rugby league.
No, I've always said the way forward for the Cymru Prem.
So start in February,
is to start
sort of
in
March.
February.
Yeah.
Okay, you'll still have bad weather because you can't help the weather.
No.
There will still be the odd game off. But
Friday
I think that's
nights and
less
that.
of a worry
than
than when I get to the European games. And if you're TNS, for instance, who are the regular European competitors, They're finishing one season. They're having 2 weeks off. You know, Nath, as a professional footballer, you need more than 2 weeks off just mentally as much as anything.
Yeah, just switch off.
And then they're right into a European campaign. Well, is it any wonder that a run like TNS had last season is the exception rather than the rule?
Yeah, I fully agree. If you want to get more teams further in European, this year, no team got through the first round, really. So if you want teams to start getting further and start having chances, not only TNS either, to reach these competitions, then a summer league is a great option. And like you say, I think every other league, and when you play against teams who do the summer league, so like Penabont, they come up against a team from Lithuania who are already in the middle of their season.
Yeah,
they're going to be fit. They're going to be fitter, sharper. So to compete with them on the same level, I think it's definitely a good option. And they're testing this out now with the new expansion of the league in terms of Friday nights being the focus. So we'll see. I think you're going to see how that goes first, and then maybe try and wind it a different sort of schedule or calendar in.
I think you've got to remember as well, what you're competing with. The amount of football that's on Sky and TNT and all these channels, even the Amazons and all that have got involved. The women's leagues have like boomed, right? So you're up against them now. They're now on TV and on Sky channels and what have you. So if you're the Welsh FA, I think just doing what you normally do or have done is like, you've got to really start to think outside the box, because
and I agree.
It's not. And the other problem is there's got to be some sort of, you've got to try and do something to close the gap between TNS and the rest of the teams. That is they've managed to get themselves into a position where until the person pulls their money out, that's just going to continue along the same lines for me, or until someone comes in and puts big money into one of the other clubs. But then you've only got two teams challenging. What I'm saying is you need to improve that league.
Yeah, they are professionalising the clubs, aren't they?
And that I think it's understandable. We go, Friday nights will be the sort of the saviour, and then blah 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 blah. If I'm paying, like, I go to my local Abergavenny and they charge a £5 to go in. You pay a £5, and really and truly, we're just going there for the social aspect.
Yeah.
Because football's not great to watch. You have to improve the football.
Yeah, yeah.
There are people paying players at sort of the lower Welsh league levels, 150, 200. And I'm not trying to do anyone out of making a bit of money. Absolutely not. But the quality of then what you're watching, listen, no, there's definitely a problem with the whole sort of the way it sits and the way the system is set up.
Yeah, well,
because that you can't be paying players like at Abergavenny. They paid one or two players and didn't pay the rest of the team.
Yeah.
Right, things like that going on. That's not going to improve your club and your team and get you up the leagues and what have you.
No.
So I cite Abergavenny because it's my local.
Yeah. We've talked about domestically. Quickly, Merthyr.
Yeah.
4-1 away at Tamworth. Win in the National League North. All 4 goals by
Ricardo Reis. Yeah, he's on absolute fire for them, and it has been for the last 3 years. I think going into this season, I think maybe not Merthyr supporters, but me as just a neutral in Welsh football and them, thinking that this might be the step too far for them, but they've proved me wrong so far.
They're up to 6th now, aren't they,
on
the table?
Yeah, if they win their game in hand, all go in, and with results going their way, I think they can be 4th.
Be in League 2 in a couple of years. Wouldn't that be great?
They got close before, didn't they?
That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it?
It would be fantastic.
5 clubs in the Football League.
Yeah, it would be. Brilliant. Anything else you got to say? Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I just want to touch on the expansion as well. I think sometimes, especially the Cymru Premier, because the league splits halfway through, sometimes you're playing teams 5 or 6 times a season.
Yeah.
Like Penabont last season, I think we played Cardiff Met 5 or 6 times because we played them in the Welsh Cup as well.
You used to play for Penabont.
Used to play for Penabont, yeah.
Right.
So we play Cardiff Met 5 or 6 times, and I think by that point, I think the fans sort of disengage because they're seeing the same teams all the time.
A bit like I've been in Scotland.
Yeah, so...
Glad you said it. No, it wasn't me.
Well, no, I've heard it talked about this week.
Yeah.
You know, one of the problems is they play each other 4 times, and if you're Rangers and Celtic, you play each other 6, 7, 8 times.
Yeah, so I think the expansion of making it 16 teams and playing teams only 3 times maximum, I think is going to be very, very good for the league. I don't think you
should play 4 times in any league.
No.
Home and away, done.
No.
I think it's like I think it says more about your league than it does about anything else.
Yeah,
you've not got a strong enough league to create 20 good teams in there, or 22 or 24.
No, I think 16 is good for Wales, and given the
it's been
finances.
a long time, Rob. That's the thing you've got to realise.
Yeah, but it's getting better as well. The standard is getting better, I think.
I don't agree.
Well,
I wouldn't agree.
I don't know what you want altogether then.
I want
Penna Bond,
what I want,
and they've got Cardiff one side, Swansea the other. Where do they go?
What I want is for the leagues to improve in the quality.
And everybody I speak to
and what I'm trying to say
to
you, well, how can you say that if TNS have won the league how many times?
Well, because you don't know how good TNS are until they come up against other teams.
Then they come up against other teams that do nothing in Europe.
Well, they did last season. They
that's one of how many. There's always an exception to the rule. I told you that before. That's just one of how many? How many leagues they won, TNS? 9? 10?
Yeah, the last. Yeah,
right? So once in 10 times. And you think that's successful?
They've had more than...
No. But I got you in a little headlock now.
No, I haven't.
Keep it.
No, you haven't.
So
because...
what I'm saying is, do you not agree that we've said it, you're kind of contradicting your own point, because you've said many a times, like, it's for the other teams to catch TNS. So there's clearly a problem if one team... So when we sit and talk about, you've mentioned Scottish football, you just said it there, and 2 teams play each other like 6, 7, 8 times. You mean in Rangers or Celtic? Well, you haven't even got a Rangers, or you've just got a Rangers or just a Celtic in the Welsh League. And my point is, it's been going years and years and years.
Yeah, but TNS haven't won it every year since it's been going. They've done really well, and they've won.
What's that got to do with what I'm saying?
Well, what I'm saying is,
what's that got to do with what I'm saying?
To use your favourite phrase, football is cyclical. I agree with you.
Well, it can't be cyclical, can it? Because no one's come round the cycle in the Welsh League. That's my point.
And Cymru were the first winners.
So have they won it in the last 15 years?
Of course they haven't, because they're not.
Well, that's
in
what I'm
the
saying.
league
So
now.
it's not happening. It's not cyclical then.
Okay,
is it?
but I don't know what you expect
word.
in that the FAW are doing their best. They're putting managers sort of off the field, sort of. I don't know if it's commercial, but you know, Neil Ward has gone in at Penabond, hasn't he, as a general manager. So they're trying to professionalise the clubs off the field and hope that. You know, I would love somebody with big money to go into a club in the Cymru Prem, but you've got to be realistic. Money is in short supply these days. Ask Rachel Reeves, she'll tell you. Without getting political. Brilliant. Cheers, Ed. Thank you for that.
Top man,
You got him
top
going.
Man,
I like to see him riled.
Yeah.
And he was then. But he was caught in a pincer movement between the two of us. Before we go, though, we've got to talk about a figure who probably Ed doesn't know too much about, but we both know. Colin Addison passed away at the age of 85, 400 plus appearances as a player with York, Forest, Arsenal, Sheffield United, Hereford, managed all over the world. Spain, South Africa, Kuwait, Qatar, Newport twice, Merthyr, Swansea, Barry Town with Dave Hughes. And of course, one of the great FA Cup shocks. Southern League Hereford, player-manager Colin Addison, FA Cup round 3, drew 2-2 at Newcastle. In the first game, Addo scored an equaliser from 25 yards. The game was postponed 3 times the replay, and then on a quagmire pitch, they beat Newcastle 2-1 with goals from Ronnie Radford, one of the goals of the season. I think it was goal of the season.
Century.
Yeah, and Ricky George.
You've got to be good if
After
you're
Malcolm
Ricky George.
McDonald, Super Mac, had put Newcastle ahead. The man just loved football. He just lived for football, didn't he? And Jean, his wife.
Yeah, well, he was good at it, wasn't he? And he was good at coaching it. He was good at talking about it. And he had plenty of stories. He had a great personality. He was just, he was just what you call from the the elder then, the elder generation, I call them, the elders, he was a great man. He's simple as that.
He was a brilliant summariser.
He's got his road named after him as well.
He
Don't
has,
forget
Addison
that.
Court. And whenever I drove through Hereford, I'd ring Addo, and he'd say, make sure that sign is polished, Rob.
Yeah.
Phillips R, he used to call me.
Yeah.
Phillips R all the time. Couple of stories. Talking about that Newcastle game, years and years later.
This is before we were born.
No. In the last 10, 15 years, I went to Newcastle with Swansea City. I'm sure it was Swansea. And Addo and I got into the press box, and there was one lone figure in the press box who was writing well before the game, hour and a half, 2 hours before the game. And he looked up. It was Malcolm MacDonald. And he looked straight at Addo, and he went, "You so-and-so, you come back to haunt me again." It was just a wonderful, wonderful moment. And of course, I saw Mike Flynn at Newport on Saturday, pulled off the Great Escape. But the original Great Escape was in 1977. Colin Addison, in charge of Newport, came in January after Jimmy Schooler, 8 points from safety, bottom of Division 4. March the 1st, they played 26 games. They had 12 points, 2 points are a win those days, of course. They actually finished 19th when their last 20 games, they won 12. So 12 points all season until the last 20 games. When they won 12, drew 2, won the last 5 and finished 19th in the table. He was brilliant.
Yeah. So how did you get to meet him then, Rob? Because I did not, I mean, you're talking to two people. I know him and I've spent, time sporadically with him here and there, mostly chatting in the car park at Newport or wherever I seen him.
20 minutes?
Yeah, a good 20 minutes. Carl, I've got to get on the mic.
I met him partly because I was a Newport fan and he was always my favourite Newport manager. And then I had the joy of working with him on Radio Wales as a summariser. But also, sporadically, he was in charge at Swansea for at one stage, and they hadn't been paid one Christmas. Went to Exeter with Addo in charge.
No, that's just like them Swans.
And they pulled off
their players.
They pulled off a brilliant win in Exeter, and they hadn't been paid. And I just thought that's the mark of the man. He had a way of playing, and respected. And this is the ultimate.
That's the word. Yeah.
The respect.
Yeah, high and low, up and down. I don't know anyone who doesn't respect him massively.
No.
Anyone and everyone you speak to. And he knew so many people. Do you understand what I mean? And I've said it before. I always say those types of figures should be in...
Well, he's got a street named after him, so he's fine.
So the turmoil Cardiff have found themselves in, and has resulted in their relegation. Can you imagine Colin Addison amongst the Mehmets, the Kens, the Vincent Tans, letting them understand and them learning from him about what it takes, in
I was a real
UK football to be able to be successful. I just think same now. You'd say the same at Swansea or recent years with their ownership model. I think there's too many of those, and I'm not talking about your Allardyces and your Pardews and Pulisics. I'm talking about a generation above them who Tony would have played for people like Addo. So I think those people, they got so much experience because the game, like I keep saying, the game never changes, Rob.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
And the respect, a couple of stories. One, outside the ground at Nottingham Forest before an evening game, when he was summarising with me, walked up to the door and an autograph hunter was looking, noticed him because he played for Forest, signed his book for him, and it was an A to Z of Forest legends. He was in it because of his goal-scoring record at Forest. The next thing you know, he's on the pitch at Forest while I'm watching from the press box because, as he always said, a manager's a manager wherever he goes. And then maybe the ultimate respect, I was covering TNS against Liverpool, played at Wrexham, a European game. Rafa Benitez was in charge of Liverpool. And Ado told me on the way up, he said, I know Rafa. He said, when I was at Atletico Madrid, we were both watching a game at Real Madrid. I gave him a lift back to the airport. Rafa a lift back to the airport. And you sort of, I had no reason to disbelieve him. But when Rafa came into the press conference, as soon as he saw Ado, he made a beeline. They hugged each other and broke into Spanish conversation for about 5
And
or 10
Rafa didn't hug you?
No, he didn't know me. But no, that's what you call respect, isn't it? That's what you call respect.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of people, he knows a lot of people, or he knew a lot of people, and, he's a legend of the game. It's as simple as that.
He is.
You don't have to be... I think we think legend of the game now is only if you, like, an ex-Champions League or Premier League winner. Like,
yeah, and he wasn't Welsh, but he had so many of his good times with Welsh clubs. So
this side of the border.
All we can say is
adopted Welsh.
Love to Jean, his wife, and the family as well, and friends. He will be missed.
Sad, he'd be missed massively.
He will,
because he's like I say, even for 20 minutes in a car park, he'd give you the rundown and he'd let you know you could get off Colin in 20 minutes, exact what the problems were and everything. And
his wife used to get it on the phone as he drove out the games. Jean, the midfield player.
Yeah.
So,
but wouldn't you want someone like that in your recruitment decking?
Yeah,
right.
Love it.
Like I say, we look at stats and data, which is perfectly normal and what you need, but also people like Colin. They could see you from a country mile away, wherever you were. But he's the type of person then will go and knock your door, speak to your mum and dad, end up like friends with your dad and all that. He just, I think those kind of people, it's all a bit, like I said earlier, scientific and all that now, isn't it? Those kind of people have been pushed out of the game almost.
Colin Addison, R.I.P. Right, Nathan, you've got to get to Portsmouth. Next week, you'll be preparing to head off to Liechtenstein, so we'll have an unmissable World Cup preview on the Rob and Blakey Commentary Box podcast. Next week, I'll also be at Wales Under-19 games, test games, ready for them hosting the Euro Under-19s finals in the summer. So next Wednesday, Wales play Japan at Central Park in Denbigh. USA play Germany in Rhyl. And then I'll tell you about the other games next week as well. The Wales games will be on the Red Wall channel. I'll be commentating, but don't let that put you off. And I'll say again, we'd love some support for the podcast. Remember, you can email us on robandblakey@gmail.com if you can help out in any way. But that is it for the Rob and Blakey Commentary Box podcast. Remember, enjoy, follow, subscribe.